Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. Good evening. Okay. So hope everyone are doing good. What did we discuss in our last class? Hi. Good evening, everyone. Hi. What did we discuss in last class? Huh? Yeah, we went with what? Metrics, and then metric server, and then HPA, VPA, and then hmm, volumes concept. That's a lot. Huh? Resource quotas, right? So all these things we have learned. And did you complete it? The practicals completed? Huh? Very nice. And we have done the auto scaling deployments and all done, and then resource quotas we have done, right? And then mainly the PVC stuff. So PVC. Did you completed that? So did you copy paste or did you wrote everything? Yeah. So don't copy paste the manifest files. So once you get experience, then you can copy paste it. But until then, do not do it. So of course, but if you understand the concept, it's completely fine, right? Uh, um, do you understand the PVC concept? First, what we need to create? We need to create what? EBS volume, first of all. And then that EBS volume, you need to move that as a PV inside the Kubernetes. So once you create that PV, and from that PV, you need to claim that PV. We call it as PVC. In the manifest file, you claim it, and while claiming, you give the name, and that you mount it in the pod. Yes or no? Once you mount it in a pod, so whenever the pod gets created and deleted, automatically, so automatically you get the data is persistent. Generally create 10 GB file in pod by use manifest file only. What is it called? Create 10 GB file in pod by use manifest. You are not creating 10 GB file in the pod. So you have the external storage called 10 GB and you are mounting that, right? So yeah, so generally create 10 GB file in pod. So Dinesh, so when you are saying that external volumes need to be created, and then yeah, and then what you need to say is you need to create that 10 GB file in the pod. So you should not say that whatever you're saying it is nothing but PV. What is that? You have external volume, and then you need to get that volume in the Kubernetes. So how do you create? We created a manifest file, and what is that? PV we have created or not? First we got that PV inside the Kubernetes, and that PV we claimed it in the pod, in the manifest file, in the pod, and that PVC we mounted to the inside the pod. This is the process, Dinesh. Okay. Okay, ma. So today what we go is we'll go with a few more things. We call it as, let's see how many we can do, but let's start with config maps and secrets. What's that? Config maps and secrets. So before that, we need to set up the cluster. So let's set up the cluster. I think I already have those. DevOps. I think we have already installed that. Okay, it's creating the cluster. Let it create. So meanwhile, let's go and talk about the concept here. So before I talk about config maps and secrets, the whole concept we call it as here environment variables. Say that. So guys, I wrote it here everything in Notepad so that you no need to go to the internet also and learn about those topics. So the topic explanation also I have given there. Okay. So environment variables. So you know very well, we have been doing this environment variables since Jenkins, right? So you pass the variables, right? You are passing the variables. Environment variables, you have the variable and then you have the value for it. Yes or no? Let's say you have the name something, right? And then username something, password something. So that is nothing but here variables. What we call here variables. And how do you pass these variables inside the pod is the concept. So environment variables is a way to pass configuration information to containers running within the pod. If you want to pass any variables, any information inside the pod, so what is the concept that you use? Environment variables. So we have two things on here. To set, we will use env. Say that. Two things to set environment variables, we can do it two ways. One is directly passing the values using env command, or else we can pass it through a file. Through what? A file. We call it as env from. Say that. Env from. One is env, another one is env from. Env meaning directly you're passing it on the command line. Let's say you are creating a pod, a database pod, for example, and you need to give the username and password or not. Username will be the by default. Password we need to give. So password you can pass it on the command prompt itself, like in the command by setting set env and password. You can run the command directly from the command prompt, from the command itself. And another one is you create a file where you put inside username and password and call that file while passing the environment variables. So that there are two ways. What are those two ways? Tell me. One is env, another one is env from. Say that. Env and then env from. Env meaning directly on the command itself, we are passing the variable. Very simple and easy. Coming to env from, say that. In env from, again, you have two things. Number one is config maps, another one is secrets. Say that. Config maps and secret. Env through command. Another one is env from. Env from meaning you have two things here. What are those? Config map and. So what is the big difference between config maps and secrets? If someone asks you what is the difference, you can simply say that config map, all the data is transparent. What is that? Transparent. That meaning everything is visible. Whereas secret meaning secret. Password is not visible. Data is not visible. Right? So if there is non-confidential data, then go for env from. Env from, which one inside it? Config. If you have confidential data, then secrets. You got the concept? Simple? Yeah. So env from, passing variables from two types. What are those? Config maps and then secrets. So config maps and secrets is simple enough. It is used to store the data in key value pair files or command line arguments that can be used by what? Pods inside the, pods meaning containers inside the cluster. But the data should be non-confidential. If you are using non-confidential data, then which one you go for? Config. Which one you go for? Config. And config maps, what we call here config maps. So, and if you want to go, and the config maps limit size is what? How much? One way. This is an interview question. What is the config map size? Because we are passing the file, right? So the file size would be maximum how much? 1 MB. And if you want to go for more than that, in that case, then you can use the external mount, EBS volume, put there the data, and then get it. So otherwise, by default, it is how much? 1 MB. And then non-confidential data, you should use it for the configs map. So if you want to do the encryption, if you want to secure the secure it, then you go for which one? Secrets. Understood? Config maps and then secrets. State store is not there. Huh? You know, someone already created my test 1, 2, 3, 4 also. That's why I put 1, 4, 3 now. Yes, Dinesh. So whenever you get, whenever it takes time, so again you need to export that. Yeah, you need to export that. Oh, my customer is ready. kubectl, get nodes. Okay, kubectl, get pods, nothing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In the previous, did I told you about on the day one on the KOps installation, I told you how to delete the cluster, no? Did I told you? Second day. First day, what you did? So I don't know somewhere, but I gave that command also in the Google Classroom, right? Yeah, but so in the previous batch also, yesterday KOps happened. And then I deleted the cluster. I thought they have the recordings. Those who have recording, they saw, but those who don't have recording, so what they did is they are terminating the EC2 instances. They are terminating the EC2 instances, and then what they're doing, the EC2 instances are coming up again. EC2 instances are coming up again and again. So they have been doing it. Someone did this time, how many? More than 30 machines got created for him. Those many machines. So guys, manually deleting is very tough. Remember, you need to delete using kops delete command. And also, whenever you know, by the time you should know this, whenever you set up the kops cluster, so all the EC2 instances will be created. I told you a separate VPC will be created, separate auto scaling will create, separate load balancer will create, separate launch templates also will get created. Because it's auto scaling. You want high availability, no? So just in case if one worker nodes, if I terminate this, if I terminate, I go and terminate, what will happen? Again, another worker node will come. Again, master node also will get it. You delete the master node because you have the launch template for master also. You have launch templates for nodes also. That is the power of KOps. No, that's why I took this KOps to teach you. Otherwise, we can use the KubeADM, another kind of micro K8s. Just give me a second. Okay. So please keep that in mind that Uh, all these things has created in the backend. So do not terminate the EC2 instances because that's a self-healing capacity of the KOps. Okay. Okay. So my cluster is ready. So what do we do? Let's go and set up few things here now. So what we do is we will go and create. What is the maximum size of the config map? Very good. What is that? 1 MB. So what we do is here, we'll go and create one deployment, but not through manifest. So I'll just go with one single command. And then we will try to create a pod with one database called MariaDB. Which one? That's also commonly used, no? MariaDB. So there's a command called, say with me, kubectl create deploy. So you are creating a deploy called new DB. Say that. And then hyphen image. Which image? MariaDB. So what this will get? It will create a deployment called, what's the deployment name? New DB. What's the deployment name? New DB. So, and then it will create a pod. Another new command. We can write manifest file also for this. Same manifest file in the container image part, we need to put MariaDB. That's it. So something new, another one. So if I create like this, see created and kubectl get pods. So how many pods got created here? Only one pod. Say that how many pods? So only one pod. So kubectl get which one? Deploy. What's the deployment name here? New DB. So I told you, you can go with the imperative also, declarative also for everything. Imperative also, declarative. Sometimes I tell you which one is better, imperative is better. Sometimes all the time, declarative is also better. So whenever there is a requirement, whenever you feel that, I want to write the manifest file, let me go and write a comments and go for like this. But here, if I do kubectl get pods again, what did you got there? What did you got there? Let's troubleshoot. What we got here? Error. So just in case if you get an error like this, what will you do? Events, when to check events, when to check logs. Two different things. Anything related to cluster, go for events. You can get it from events also. But this is related to cluster or related to pod. So then you need to check the logs of that pod or not. Right? So what's the command to check that? kubectl logs, and then we give the name. Exactly. So error here meaning mostly image side only. Correct, Dinesh. So let's see what's the problem here. Oopsie. Okay. So we get this right. So everything is fine. But do you see in the bottom? Can you please read it? Database is initialized and password option not specified. Password option is not specified. So that meaning whenever you are creating this MariaDB, whenever you're creating this what? MariaDB, we need to pass the password. And this password, how do you pass it? Using environment variables. You understand? For every topic, I'll tell you the problem and then solution for it. Understood? So whenever you get that crash loop back off, we'll talk about that, Dinesh. So here you need to specify what is this here? MariaDB root password, MariaDB root password, something. At least one of this you need to mention. You need to mention what? MariaDB underscore root underscore password. So this is how you get it. Okay, there is also one more command. What is that? kubectl get events. What is that? So do you see this here? In events, what it says here, it says only what? Warning. So your image, your container is back off. Back off meaning something went wrong because so back off meaning what here? Your container didn't created properly inside it. Whenever you see events, back of restarting failed container. Do you get more information from here? No. So if you want to go get more information, then go for pod logs. Okay. And also, do you see this invalid disk capacity? Because in our worker node, we have how much GB? Only 8 GB, right? For that reason, we are getting these warnings. But that's fine. Okay, now. So now, if I do kubectl get pods, the pod went to crash loop back off. Say that crash loop back off. So something wrong inside that image. So in the container. What's that? Understood? I'll tell. We'll talk about that. So I gave the very nice information about what is this crash loop back off, and then okay, I'll take this two things. I'll put it on the top for you. Environment variables. Okay. Okay. So pod state one. Sometimes we get what? Image pull back off. Say that. Image pull back off. So sometimes you will get this type of error. So image pull back off. So when a kubelet start, who will start your containers? Kubelet only. So whenever kubelet start creating containers for a pod using a container runtime, it might be possible that container is waiting state because of image pull back off. That meaning the status meaning that a container could not start because Kubernetes could not pull a container image. So what is the problems with that? Either the problem is invalid image or you are pulling it from the private registry without any giving the password for it. And then that is the reason it's try to pull the image again and again, right? And then as that says image pull back off error that you get it, because whenever it's trying to pull the image, the same image again and again, when it is not able to create the container, then image pull back off issues will come. So another one is what here? Crash loop back off. What's that? Crash loop back. So when you see crash loop back off, that meaning kubelet is trying to run the container, but it's keep failing and crashing. So this Kubernetes will try to restart the container automatically. And then it will go to the loop and it continually crashes and it restarts. And then the container state, the pod state will become what? Crash loop back off. You understand? It's very, very important. Dinesh, okay? So time will come for everything one by one. Okay. So now in our case, so what is the pod status here? Again, error. And what is doing in the backend? It is restarting again. It is trying to create the container and again it is failing. Again, it is going to the crash loop back off. So we need to find it and fix it off or not. What is the problem here? Because we are not giving the password. So we need to set the password for it or not. So, okay, say with me, kubectl set env. Say that. Set env. You are setting the environment variable for deployment. Deploy, which deployment was that? What is the deployment name? New DB. And then there is a MySQL, what is that? MariaDB environment name is there. Environment variable name is there. You can pass it as MySQL also. You can pass it as a MariaDB also. No issues. It is same as RDBMS, right? So here, only 50, yeah? Okay, good. Azibhai. Okay. तुम भी 50 मारना. Salary, package. हाँ. क्या बोलते? तौसीफ भाई, कहाँ से हो? यहाँ से चे? Yeah. Okay. Solapur. Okay. Okay. So read it, guys. Read it. What's the command? kubectl set env deploy newdp and then mysql underscore root underscore what's that? Password. So I'm passing the environment variable. root 1, 2, our favorite. Root 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here I'm passing the, for the deployment, right? What's the deployment I created? New DB. So for that new DB, did I pass any variable, password variable? No. So for that reason, here I'm passing this environment variable called MySQL underscore root underscore password. Now, if I pass this, now my deployment new DB environment got updated or not? As it is, environment is updated. So what will happen if I do kubectl get pods now? kubectl get pods. Now what is there? It is in the running state. So this is how in real time that you do whenever you get something. So please check the error. Troubleshooting part is very important. Whenever you get an error, like, the password is not set. So you have need to set the environment variable. So I have set the environment variable using env command. Yes or no? Which one? What? With env. So this is through command line or not? So this one I showed you env, first one. Another one is env from. In env from, again, we have two things. What are those? Config maps and secrets. So first of all, env is clear for you. Okay. Now let's delete this. kubectl delete. Which one? Deploy. What's the deployment name? चला गया? So kubectl get pods. Gone. So now we will, do you remember how to create this deployment through the command? Tell me the command. kubectl create, kubectl create. You have very good memory power. kubectl create deploy. Which one? New db hyphen image is equal to this will pass fail. Obviously it will fail. I'm passing any variable. So I created like this. I showed you the error and I rectified that error. Now again I'll fail it. I created. So kubectl get pods. So okay. Kubernetes is also doing mazak with me. It should not go to the running state at all. So it felt that it went to the running state, but again in the back end, maybe one kata chuba hai usko, right? And then it came, that red color came, right? Error came. Okay, so now I resolve this error with the env concept. But now I'll resolve this error with what concept? Env from. In env from, which one? First one? Config maps. So what we need to create here now? Config maps. What we need to create now? Config. So config maps is meaning here env from. That meaning I'm not passing the password directly on the command prompt, directly in the command. I will be passing through a file. I'll be passing through a file. So we need to create a file or not? So I'll create a file called vi vars. Any name is fine. Vars meaning variables. Okay. Inside it, what is the variable name? My SQL. No, this one should not be changed, because in the image, if you go to Docker Hub and if you go and search for MariaDB, right? If you go and search in MariaDB, in the bottom, so if you search inside the MariaDB image, you have the environment variables for, it should be there somewhere. Let us. Because you might have a question, sir, why you are putting this MySQL underscore like this? It's mandatory or not? Mandatory or no? It is mandatory. Root 1, 2, 3, 4. Password is not mandatory. But environment variable name is mandatory. Because here I go with what? MariaDB. So if we go for this MariaDB, do you see this here? So it has, do you see root underscore password? So this is mandatory variable to have, because that image, in that image, the environment variables already created with that name. Okay. So MySQL, and then can I also pass the user also MySQL underscore user? You can put MySQL also. You can put Maria also. Anything is fine. So here I go with what is it's hanging here. Hey. Okay, so that's fine. Online, are you with me? Can you hear me? Today somehow slow. Yeah, yeah, it will come again. Yeah, fine. So, okay. So what we are talking about, we are creating a wherever vi vars. I recovered that. Okay, fine. So what is the default username here? Admin. So we save. So we have the file called vars here now. So with this vars, I need to create a config maps. What I need to create here? Config maps. Okay, say the command here. So do we have any config maps with us at the moment here? No. So what is the command to get kubectl get config map? Shortcut? Oh, CM, correct. CM, right? Not DCM, deputy CM, normal CM. So right, CM. So here we already have one config maps. You can ignore it. So what we do? Should we go and create our own config maps now? Command kubectl create CM. Create CM. What is the name of your CM? I call it as dbvars. You can give any name. Config map name dbvars hyphen hyphen from hyphen env hyphen file is equal to what's the file that you created? What's see that? Register that in your brain. I think now everyone might be present. Okay. Can I request you something? Hmm? So I'm just thinking your class is at 7:30, no? Can we start the class at 7 o'clock? It's fine for you. Wow, nice. How about you online, please? Because you know, right? So this is the season of Ramadan, right? So I I preponed the 5:30 p.m. batch also at 5 p.m. So that is 5 p.m. to 6:30. So 6:30 exactly we need to break the fast. So 6:30 to 7, half an hour gap is enough for me. So I'm waiting for you 1 hour here. So why to waste that half an hour time? So for that reason, can we start it? 7 o'clock is fine now. Wow, thank you very much. Sure, Ranjan. I'll make dua for you. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go with tomorrow onwards only. No problem. No. Huh? No problem, right? Yeah. Hmm? Better, no? For you also it's better, huh? For your hostels and all, right? No food, huh? You never told me these days, yeah? I used to leave at 9:30, 9:25 sometimes, right? Okay. So at what time your mess is closed? 10, 9, huh? I know. I'm also a hostel student. I was also a hostel student. Those days are very nice. I still remember my first job was in 2005, I think so. No, not Infosys. In Amirpet. My first job is in Amirpet. Uh, right? I don't know whether I told you or not. I was a university topper. I was a university topper in 2005, SV University, Tirupati. Right. So, so I got campus selected, and I still remember in that Amirpet, Big Bazaar is there, no? That was not there before. It was completely drought area. It's like there is one small mountain where nothing was there. I was here. There was no metro, no overbridges, nothing. Nothing was there. It just completely, the Charmas was there before. Now it's there, Charmas? No. Charmas was there. Whenever we come to it's exactly opposite to RS Brothers. RS Brothers, RS Brothers was our Adda. And before, opposite to it, the Bata showroom was there before. And then, why should I tell all these things to you? So basically, me and my friends, my first salary was 6,000. My first salary was 6,000, and the company is also now there is no company, but back to the big bazaar, there is one blue building with yellow borders will be there. Glass building, you can see today if you're going there. That was my first company, and I joined as a .NET developer. I used to develop ASP.NET on those days. ADO.NET, ASP.NET, if you remember. Right. So that was my first journey. I was there for 6-7 months. Then I attended Infosys campus interview in Lingamballi here. Then I got selected there. And when I went to the HR and then said, I am 8 months experienced, and you shut up and join as fresher, he said. So I canceled that experience. But that was my first job. Yeah. Yeah. So at that time also, we were in the hostels. And you know how much I was paying for the hostel? With food, bed, and everything on those days? 2,000 and only 4 people in one room. And Wednesday, non-veg, Sunday, non-veg, eggs and everything. And the airport was here only on those days. Begumpet only. And when I was standing in that Amirpet hostel, the main on the top floor, the flights was going on top of our head on those days. I can still see the tires of the flight is revolving. It was nice on those days, right? Now it's too much crowded. Yeah, too much crowded. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know I was also a hostel student. In intermediate also, I was 10th class also, I was in hostel. You might have heard about Ravindra Bharati school. You heard, huh? You heard Ravindra Bharati school? Most of the places have Ravindra Bharati school. Nellore, he's Mani sir. We call him Mani sir, the head of that guy. Very close to me. And in Nellore, I was in Nellore, and that was the first. He started that school, Ravindra Bharati school, and we were the first batch of hostel students there. And after that, we got high. On those days, out of 600, if you get 500 plus, you are tumko pura, like, you remember 500 plus meaning it's too much on those days. Out of 600 marks, 500 plus meaning it's too much on those days. Now it was graded, no? Now you say everything is graded. I saw all this evolution, yes. Like we are all 85 plus kids. We call it as 80s kids. You're all 90s kids or 2000 kids, right? So I'm just 2 generation before of you. That's Only one generation, not two generation. Not. Don't think me. I'm very old. No, I'm not. Yeah. 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 So I was there in hostel. Now that Ravindra Bharati got expanded a lot, it went to so many places now. And I was in hostel, and I was in Ongol also. Ongol also is my place. There also hostel, and then we completed degree, MC, and all. Yeah, fine. Okay. Sir, we will not tell to IT now how much salary. You just imagine you're all small jujube people now because you're all small babies, no? All 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, maximum 5 years people here, right? So just you in front of me, you're all babies. How many years of experience I have? 18, 19 plus, almost 20 years of experience. So just imagine a 20 years of experience guy is coming and teaching to you, and then he is being very friendly to you, and that will never happen outside. Yes or no? Yeah, fine. 50 lakhs per month is our salary. Arey, how come 50 lakhs per month? That is, 2 months, yeah. Sir, in crores. Okay, let's don't fall on my stuff. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about config maps. Okay. Yeah, Sheikh India. Acha, sir, full definition. He said Sheikh India Riaz, sir. Okay. Sir, tell about something your Europe journey. What you are doing interview to me or not? Or what? Tell me something about Europe journey. No, not now because there are so many people are also thinking in online. What sir is talking today, right? But yeah, fine. When time comes, we'll talk. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic. Thank you. Those who are saying you are my mentor, Prajwal. Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. Nana. So come down. Otherwise, if you are nearby here, come down one day to Hyderabad, online people, and then we all meet at the end of the course, right? That'll be fun. I hope you have so many girlfriends on. Bah. Dinesh. Ayyo. How it is? Ireland is my personal. Similarly, here also this is personal, right? I have only one girlfriend. Yes, that's my wife. Okay. Today, sir will not sleep all night. Okay. Guys, you're all small babies in front of me. I saw so many things, right? Your age is not my experience. Okay. Good, Nana. Okay, fine. Let's move on. So just a little bit off track, just to make you a little bit more inspiring. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead. Here we are creating what here? We created already one deployment, new DB, and then also we created a pod, and the pod is failing now because it doesn't contain the variable. So I already used environment and set the environment through command, and that worked. Again, what I did, I created the deployment again, and then the pod is failing again. Now I need to pass the environment variable through a file. So I created a file here already, vars, and then now I'm creating a config maps. So what's the command to create a config maps here? kubectl create cm, and what is the config map name? db vars, and it is creating environment file from what is here? Vars. Clear. Got created? No. So what's the command to list the CMs? kubectl get CM. So db vars config map got created or not? Online created? No. So can you describe this config map? kubectl describe CM db vars. And if I describe it, do you see this here? My root password is this and user this. So it's clearly visible or not? That is config maps problem, not problem. So sometimes the data is not that much confidential. You can pass it. Let's say you're passing some configuration files, you're passing some XML files, you're passing something which is not that much confidential. so that we can show that as transparent data here. But here, if you describe it, you're getting the data in the, you're showing it's visible, everything in the plain data or not? Yes. Okay. Now we just created a config maps called dbvars, and let's use this and deploy our pods now. Our pod already is in dying state. Yes or no? kubectl get pods. It already went to the coma. It already went to coma, right? So crash loop back off. It already went to the coma. Let it get back. Let's do the CPR for it. Let's do CPR. Oh, you don't know CPR? Okay, let's do the CPR. Okay, tell me the command, Anna. kubectl set, what's that? env, which one? Deploy, which deployment name is new db. And then here I'm saying hyphen from. And then what I'm using here, config maps. What is the config back name that you created? db watts. So it goes for 5 minutes. I think 300 seconds. 70. Somewhere I wrote that also. How much? 300 seconds. Okay, Nana. So can you please read that command once? kubectl get set env deploy new db, and you're passing the variables from config maps called db watts. Our environment, our deployment got updated or not? New db got updated here. So if I do now kubectl get pods, so that is now in the running state. Understood? Generally, how many states we have? You try to list down how many states we have. We have seen container creating state. We have seen pending state. We have seen running state. We have seen error state. We have seen cache loopback off state. We have seen image loopback off state. And then you have seen completed state for the jobs. So almost 7 state we have seen already. Dinesh, okay? So guys, everyone understood how to pass the environment variables to a config maps here? Okay. So guys, remember this config maps and config maps especially, I drafted a project for you in Kubernetes. Kubernetes, I'll not be integrating with Jenkins because it's not for Kubernetes. We have a continuous integration deployment tool. We call it as Argo CD. Say that. So Argo CD is a continuous deployment tool for Kubernetes. So people don't go for Jenkins. If you want to go, no problem. What we need to do, we need to just run the YAML files only, right? Whatever the commands that you are doing in the SH, you put these commands. That's it. But here, before I go with the Argo CDs, it's very easy, very easy to do the deployments automatically. Guys, we have our data in the GitHub. Whenever you do the modification, that manifest file in the GitHub, automatically Argo CD will take it, and then Argo CD will deploy the pods. Jenkins also do the same thing, no? Why you want to integrate all the things with the Jenkins? We already integrate so many things till now. Enough. Let's take a new tool. Which one is that? Argo CD. Which one is that? Argo CD. So before I'll be going to Argo CD in coming days, but today after this config maps concept, I'll share you one project. Everything step by step I wrote. And that project is MongoDB Express. Which one is that? So this project will show you for you front end and the back end. Front end will be, you have the pods, and then these pods need to connect to the backend pods. In the backend, we have MongoDB database. In the front end, you have MongoDB Express. That meaning GUI to manage the databases. So this will become your whole thing in the, so in this, you will be creating deployments, you will be creating the services, you will be creating the config maps, because MariaDB, what DB is this? MongoDB, we need to pass the username and passwords or not? How do you pass the username and passwords? Using config maps. So I'll be sharing that notepad to you. I want you to finish that. I think definitely you'll be able to do it. If not, we'll do it. But maximum, don't ask me to do it because we have still so many things that we need to do. But that project, you try to do that. But still, if you are not able to do it, one day we'll see. Definitely. Okay, online. Okay, so let's delete the deployment. kubectl, delete, deploy. Which one? New DB. All gone. So kubectl get pods. Nothing is there. So everyone clear about the configs, Nana? Okay. So now let's go for which one? Secrets. Which one on here? Secrets. So can you tell me again? We'll create that new DB with the image MariaDB. Let it fail, and then we'll make it running using secrets. Okay. Tell me the command again. kubectl create deploy and then image. So by this, you will also know how to create a deployment using the command. Yes or no? Where is the spelling mistake? It's a cube. Okay, yeah. kubectl. Okay. So here, if I do kubectl get pods, again, what it says here, it says a error. So now we need to create. We already have the var files now. So let us go and create what now? Secrets. You can create the secrets again in two ways. One is through CLI, again is through file. Through CLI or through file. Okay, see here. So just now what we created, kubectl deploy we did, we get pods, and I clearly wrote this will fail because no environment variables. So first we need to create what? Secrets. And you can two ways to create. One is through CLI, another one is through file. So which one is better to go for, CLI or file? Let's go with the file. But I have given you here a command also to how to do it from the CLI. How to do it? Read it. kubectl create what you are creating. Secret generic password hyphen hyphen from hyphen literal meaning you are passing the direct value. Root underscore password is equal to Riaz123. So that is one thing. And another one is one, I can do it from the file or not. What's the command? kubectl create, what are you creating? Secret and then generic. What's the secret name? My secret hyphen hyphen from env files, and then we already have a var file, right? Created. We'll pass it. And then what we do? We will say the get secrets. And then what we do? We created a secret and then we'll pass that secret to the our deployment. Should we do it? Okay. Okay, now tell me how to create the secrets through a file. kubectl, what do you want to create? What do you want to create? Secret, generic, and then what is this? Password. We are not passing, and then you need to give the secret name. What is the secret name you are giving here? My secret. And then hyphen hyphen from hyphen env file. And what is the file name that we have created here? What's so please this see this and put it in mind. So we are creating this, we're creating a secret with the name called my hyphen secrets. And what does that my hyphen secret contains? This var. In this vars, what we have? Username and then password. Let's create it. So my secret got created. How to list the secrets? kubectl get secrets. So my secret is there. Okay. My secret is there. Okay. Now, can you describe the secrets? kubectl describe secret and then name of the secret. My hyphen. Okay. Do you see this? Do you are able to see the user passwords there? Do you see the username there? Do you see the password there? So, what is here? My secret. Okay. Okay. Let's go and deploy this. What's the command? kubectl set env. What are you doing? Deploy where? New db hyphen from. Similarly, how we did for config maps, config map slash and config back name. And here we created what? Secret. So opaque meaning here, it's secret. It's a type where you cannot see the data. So here, what we say, Nana? Here, secrets. What is the main usage of secrets in real time? Simple. If you want to share if you want to pass the password inside the pod, let's say you have some secret keys, access keys, secret keys, and you have the PEM files and you have username passwords. Is it good to pass it like this directly? No, right? We need to keep it as secret and pass it, right? So just for confidential, to maintain the confidentiality, Dinesh will use this here, secrets. Okay, tell me, secrets slash, what's the secret name? My hyphen secrets. Secrets are secreta. Secret. So now got updated. If I do kubectl get pods, now it's running or not? Understood? Online. Online is clear enough. Okay. So here, how it is running? Running only, right? So I have given you one more thing here. See here. Sometimes whenever you just do the deployment from secret hyphen my hyphen secrets, sometimes also it will fail because many people what they do is in the VI, we have given what? Sometimes they will give only root underscore password and then they'll just give the user. So prefix is mandatory or not? Prefix is mandatory because in that Docker Hub image, they have given as MySQL underscore or MariaDB underscore. The prefix is important. So sometimes if you have not created the prefix, you can pass the prefix here also. See here, kubectl set env deploy new db hyphen secret slash, not password here, my secret hyphen prefix MySQL underscore. So in the var files, if you have not provided the prefix, you can pass the prefix like this. Your container will start running. Okay. Online now, is this clear? So how to see the secrets? I'll show you how to decode it. See here, kubectl get, what is that? Secrets, my underscore, what is that? Secret hyphen o. It's a YAML, right? Okay. If you see this command is interesting. See that command once. kubectl get secrets my hyphen secrets hyphen o YAML. Do you see this? This is the password. Is this the password I have given? Is this the password I have given? No. So it is encrypted or not? So it is encoded. Can we, what we do? We can do the decode or not? We can do the decode. So we have a command here. But what is this here? Copy this here. This is fun while doing it. So we should say here echo, say that echo hyphen n, you pass this here, and then pipe base 64 and then hyphen D. So 64 hyphen D. What's the password there? Did we decode it or not? So if at all you want to decode it, so that's a nice command. Enjoy the command in the real time. Okay. that will do. You can do that, Dinesh. Because guys, you can log into the pod. He's asking, sir, we have given the username and password, right? So can we log in? You can log into the pod. I'll tell you. See, Dinesh, you can log into the pod using Kubernetes exec-itd and then log into the pod, and then what you need to do? You need to use the MySQL command or MariaDB commands to log into the database inside it. Do you remember in Word? Okay, now do you remember MySQL-u? How to log into the databases? MySQL-u, username, password, and give the endpoint, and then localhost. We need to do it. That is not our topic here, Dinesh. Let's hold on that, please. But we'll share that. Don't worry. So let's delete it. kubectl, delete. Which one? Deploy new db. So guys, is this clear, everyone, about the config max one secrets? Online, please. Interesting or not? So here env from. In env from, we have what? Config maps and secrets. So all the concept here is what, Nana? How to pass the variables inside the pod is the concept. How to pass it using config maps, which is non-confidential things, and with confidential things, which one? Secrets. Okay. If this is clear, then we go to a topic called sidecar. Sidecar. Car. Side car. Say that. Sidecar. Sidecar meaning don't think that who is sitting next to that seat. Sidecar. So sidecar meaning, actually this topic is it's good to know, but I'll tell you the concept of this sidecar. Say that. That meaning someone is next to you. That meaning side. Whenever you create a manifest file deployment, you do the deployment, a pod will get created or not. And if you provide the replicas, those many replicas will be created. And then one pod contain how many containers? One container. One pod contain only one container. But I also taught you one pod, multiple containers. That also done. The second container is there. So in one pod, here in this concept, we call it as main container, second container. What is that? Main container, second container. Main container. So I don't call main and second. First container, second container. Say that. First container, second container. The second container is there, no? That container, officially we name it as here sidecar. What we call sidecar. And what is the purpose of this sidecar? To help the main container. To help what? Main container. Let's say, for example, application is running where in the first container. In the second container, can I set a database also and then help that main container? And to make you understand, I have wrote a manifest file where it shows, let me tell you, there is a container here. See here. Okay, let me show this and you tell me whether you understand this or not. Let me check your skills. See this and tell me. Don't worry about these arguments, all these things, okay? Just try to see the logic first. You get so many sidecar examples in internet, right? But you need to understand the logic. You got it, huh? Tell me what is doing. Online, put it in the chat. Meanwhile, I listen offlines. Tell me. First one is Alpine. Alpine image is nothing but it's one of the Linux distribution. Mm. Uh, 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 uh. What is the last logic? Everything is correct. What is the last logic is missing? What is the logic that the app container is doing? What is sidecar container is doing? That is fine. Inside that, what it's doing? They're sharing the, okay. What? What data? Correct. Subhasha. Online. Got it, Ravani. Yeah. Karthika. Let me explain. See here. What is the kind? And it is creating a pod. Simply it is creating a pod. How many pods only? One pod. One pod. In that we have the containers. How many containers? 1, 2. What's the first container called? App container. What is the second container called? Sidecar container. First, let's see what app container is doing. Then we'll come to the, okay. So and also here we have another one. What it is doing? It is creating a volume. What is creating a volume? Volume here is nothing but not our EBS volume. It is creating a directory. Here, remember in Dockers we created a directory. Volumes is nothing but here directory. In the containers, what we have? Directory only, right? So it is creating a directory called what? Shared logs, and that is empty directory. It's creating a directory. Okay. Now, what is it app container is doing? App container, first, it is using Alpine image. Alpine image is one of the Linux distribution. And then it is setting one bash. And then in arguments, what is while true, do date, var log, app.log. So here it is generating some logs, dates. It is generating some log that is going in sitting under the app.log. So every 5 seconds, it is going and generating the to date. That means log. It is generating inside it. So app.log has the logs. Yes or no? Apps.logs has a logs. Now these logs, our side container, and this logs is getting shared where? Inside the mount path is var logs. So shared logs directory got created, no? In that directory, it is creating that directly is getting mounted as var logs. Okay. Now, what is our second sidecar container is doing? It is using what? Nginx. First of all, it is using Nginx. Nginx meaning what? It is, it's a web server. Is what? Web server. What is the default path for web server? USR share Nginx HTML. So what this our sidecar is doing, whatever is there inside this shared logs directory, guys, this container and this both container sharing the same volume or not? What is the volume name? That means directory name, share logs. So this container is also putting all the logs into the shared log. And our sidecar container Nginx, it is using that share log, and that is getting mounted into USR share Nginx HTML. That meaning this app.log are getting deployed into the Nginx. That meaning if this Nginx is open, if you open a Nginx, you see all the logs of what? First container. I have chosen this example because in real time, this will be super helpful. So if main container is doing some work, and if you want to see that outside, you can set up an Nginx, call that logs inside the Nginx in HTML directory, host it and come back, and then outside you can see all the logs. You understood? See, sidecar, I can simply write one small command saying that I can write a small command, but I'm giving a real-time thing here, like one of the project's task saying that. So the manager came to you and said, hey, there is one pod. It is generating a lot of logs. I want to see that logs in the form of website. This is the task for you. Very common task. Yes or no? So for that, what you need to do? What he said, I need a pod, and then it is generating a logs. I want to see the logs outside. If he is a technical, what he can do? We can say that, Arey Babu, go inside the pod and go into that particular app.log, cat app.log, you will see the logs. But he don't want to do it. He want to see it from outside. Outside meaning these logs need to be hosted somewhere. So the first app, the first container is doing the work. It is generating the logs. So now we need to create one more container inside it with Nginx or not? Nginx is for what purpose? Web server purpose. And whatever the app.log is generating, put that app log into this directory. How do you put it? That is one container. This is another container. How the data is shared? Using what? The question here is, one container is there and it is generating some data, and that data need to be accessed by another container. By default, two containers shares the data. Now, how to share the data? Using volumes. Using what? That's why we created a volume is nothing but a directory, and we are mounting that directory on here also, here also. And data is shared or not? And app.logs, this data is getting putting into the ./html, and that is getting hosted. So sidecar container, sidecar meaning so that container is helping the main container. You can take any kind of logics. This is one of the logic. Is it clear? Online clear? And also we have something online. Can you please give me CC on this? Meanwhile, guys, there is also called init container. Say that. Init container also there. It is like auto start. First that container will start and do the job, and then next the main container will start. What is that concept called? Init container. Init meaning initializing. Init meaning initializing container. First it will start it, and then main container will do the work. Yes. Otherwise, obviously, no. Guys, two containers need to next. If two containers are doing different works, how come the second container will help the main container? Right? Let's say first container is working on .NET, second container is working on Java. How these two are related? What is the purpose of sidecar then? Sidecar purpose is only to help the main container. Then we call it as what here? Sad. Otherwise, our one part, two containers concept. आप खुद करो, I'll do myself. Don't get in touch with each other. Okay? Okay, then. So this is one. Should we execute this and see? Okay. How to run it? kubectl or create what? Create -f sidecar. So pods got created here. So kubectl get pods. So container is creating. 0/2 is there. 0/2 meaning two containers in one pod. Two sides running up. Now let's go and log in. Command. kubectl exe -it. What's the pod name? Pod name -c. Container, right? And what's the first container name? Let's go to the sidecar container. What's the container name here? Sidecar -container. So now, and then --/ /bin/ bash. Guys, I'm going to the second container. That means sidecar container. So if I go to this path, I should be able to see what? Logs. Fantastic. Should we do it? Check it. Let's go. Okay. CD, USR, share, Nginx, HTML. If I do ls, I should get what here? Apps.log, right? And there we go. And if we do cat, apps.log, and it is printing the date. That's what, no, here. While true, do date. So it is printing the date every 5 seconds. Understood, sidecar? Okay. So this will be really helpful. Online cheat is clear, Nana? Okay. 67 runs need from 66 balls. It's a left hand work for him, for Kohli. How Kubernetes is left hand for us? Yes or no? Nana, clear? Log collectors. Good question. So, yeah, good, Tosif. So here, your question here is log collector. So log collector, two things. You are collecting the, what is the logs only, no? You are collecting the logs of the node. You are collecting the logs of the pod. If it is pod, sidecar. If it is that, demand set. Okay. Okay. It will collect. It's up to you how to design it. Right? Node can, that will also collect the application log, pod logs. It's just all about the commands. No, kubectl, what is the kubelet has all the information about the logs. So that will collect, kubelet will collect your node logs also. It will collect the pod logs also. Yes. For demand set, previously I told you with the concept of the logs only. So always better to go with the daemon set for the log aggregation. But this one, to the main purpose of the sidecar is what? To help the main one. So I don't think so for logs and all, the sidecar will work much. So it is best to go for the daemon set, not with the sidecar. Online clear, Anna? Should I stop it here? Because I'll give that project to you. Okay. So what did we discuss today? Daemon set, Dinesh. Okay. No. So what we have done, what we have learned today? Environment variables. We started what here? Environment variables. So we started with the environment variables, and we have seen command line, and then we have seen the configs, and then we have seen the secrets, and in between we have talked about something really bullshit things. Okay. After that, we discuss about what? Sidecar. So today we went for a little bit. Purposefully, I did this because I want to give you that MongoDB project to you. So I'm very, very curious and interested to hear from you tomorrow that you have completed the task or not. That notepad has everything. What to run, how to run. You do it, no problem. But I want you to understand the logic behind it. So we are writing, we are in that, I don't want to explain that. Okay, let's explain. Huh? We have time. Say project. Do you see this here? Exactly. Do you see this? Complete application setup with Kubernetes components. Okay. So this is our application and this is the database. And this is how you'll be doing it in for all your Kubernetes setup. And very important thing is you are doing it alone. If you did this alone, Bhul jao. Okay. Don't bhul jao Kubernetes. I mean, you can be relaxed. Because this project will showcase how to create the services, how to create the manifest files, how to set up the databases in the backend, and how to connect it from one pod to another pod. What's the relation? How the services you are calling? Everything will be there. So that logically you need to think and then do it. So don't just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Next command, next command. It worked. Everyone will do that. But I want you to understand how you manage time to prepare notepad. I promised you on the day one only. Till end of the course, you will be having a super notepad so that everything will be there. You just need to follow and you will get it. But I recommend please do not share this to anyone. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only. Okay, fine. See this project. See this project. Thank you, Tausif bhai. Do you see this here? This is a front end. What's that? So front end will be the Mongo Express. What's that? Nothing. Nana. Mongo Express is nothing but to manage the MongoDB databases. We have the GUI. What is that? We have the GUI. We call it as Mongo Express. So Mongo Express, this is how it looks like the front end. Do you see the application? This is the application. You should get it. This is the application. You should get it. And then this application is getting the databases here or not? From where do you get? All the databases will be here inside this pod. So Mongo Express is one deployment. Database is another deployment. Understood? And then whenever you do here, there is something called create database button here. Whenever you click on create database, new database will create, that will go and request here and database will get created here. So you are doing read writes here. Application will also do the same thing or not? So this is the on top over level, and I don't want to explain this, but I'll share this to you, this project. Go to the panes and try to understand. But okay, let me show you something. Let me tell you one thing. So how many deployments are happening here? 2 deployments or not? So what are the 2 deployments here? One is Mongo Express, another one is MongoDB. Okay. And how many services? 2 services. Mongo Express, MongoDB. First of all, you need to do the deployment. You need to have the infrastructure set up. Pods need to be created. And that need to be exposed using services. That's why we created here. And then here I'm using what? Config map and secrets. Why? Because this is a database now in the backend. That meaning, so for this Mongo Express pod, I need to pass the URL database connection string. I need to pass or not? So from this here, this is the MongoDB, Mongo Express pod. And this Mongo Express pod need to connect to which pod? MongoDB pod. This MongoDB pod should be internal or external? Internal. Whereas our Mongo Express need to be external. You find out there, they are using cluster IP or node port, load balancer. And then how these two are getting connected? Using our config map. So this meaning config map meaning you will create a separate file with the username and password and pass that config map DB URL to this one. And you have the secret file. We have the username and password. And then you have a deployment.yaml file where you are having the environment variables. And which one you need to expose? Mongo Express you need to expose. That will be the external service. And this is how you access it. Project architecture, I told you. That's fine. So this is the browser request. Whenever you open the request, it will go to the Mongo Express external service and it will go to Mongo Express pod. From there, MongoDB internal service will be called. MongoDB pod is there and you are passing config maps DB URL and you are using the secrets for username and password. Interesting or not? And this is your powerful weapon. Everything is there. Okay. I'll share with this to you. And then please complete those things. Clear? So Tomorrow we'll go with the ingress controllers concept. What's that? Ingress. Say that. We already did this load balancer, but to just give you a hint, heads up, remember in AWS we learned about host-based routing, path-based routing in load balancer, host-based path. If you put slash path-based, so mainly tomorrow we'll concentrate on this path-based routings. So we'll take two different services and then we'll create a load balancer slash one service slash another service. How to set up? We'll do that. And then also we go with your small node selectors, node affinity examples. Helm will come. I think it is more than sufficient Kubernetes. Yes. So Kubernetes, that's a maximum topic. There is no topics left there in Kubernetes anymore, right? So from I covered the maximum in the Kubernetes from the experience point of view level also. So for if you are a junior or a fresher, having this much knowledge on Kubernetes is equal to a 4 to 5 years experience knowledge. You can rock. Okay. Sir, please tell how did you manage to learn so many skills along with your job and apart from your full-time job, you also teach. Guys, teaching is my passion. Teaching is the passion. I am only working. I am doing some other things also, right? I gave this example. I don't know whether I gave. You have our megastar, Chiranjeevi. How old he is now? 60 plus. And how much money he has? Crores of rupees. But why he is doing the films again? Rajnikant, no? As I'm here, I'm talking about him. You can take Shah Rukh Khan there. Yes or no? Why they are doing? To increase the bank balance? That's a passion, right? Bale Babu is there, right? Yeah. Balaya, Jai Balaya. Manage things is all about priorities now. Simple as that. Everyone can do the. See, it's all about uh, prioritization, right? So if you do the priorities, make the priorities. Let's say you can also do by yourself. Let's say today you need to do these things. What will you do? Okay, let's say you're going to a trip and trip has 5 locations. And what you do? You have to cover all 5 locations in one day. If I ask you to do that, then what will you do? And you have to prioritize, right? First, I will go this place. I need to spend this much time. Second, this place, this time. Second, this place. But if you go in without priority, without any proper planning, if you go there, nothing you can do it, right? It's all about priorities. How do you manage? It's all about priorities, right? So in my experience, right, based on my experience, I have, right, 19 years of experience. In this experience, you will not, in the companies, you will be working as a very high level things. So my job is all about not working on Kubernetes, not working in Jenkins, not working in AWS, setting up VPCs, deploying the applications, setting up high availabilities. These are all my core skills. So my job, actually presently I'm working as a director for the entire cloud computing for cloud operations in the company, where I am responsible to get the projects, not get the projects. Projects will be projects, leads we get it from the CFO, Chief Financial Officer will be there, right? So that guy will go and get the projects. He will get the client, but he don't know technical things. He is from business point of view. So what he need to do is he will get the client, and then we will be sitting there, myself, and then technical principal architects, not solution architects, not senior level architects. We will be sitting with what? Principal architects, high level architects, and I'll be sitting there, and then we will gather the requirements of of the customer. We'll talk to the customer, we'll get the requirement. And then what we do is we will create something called RFPs, request for proposal, RFP. What's that? RFP, request for proposal. So whatever the requirements that we get, we'll try to analyze that, and then I'll explain this architecting level to the principal architect, and then myself and he need to design that RFPs. It's like PPTs only. And then what does the project contain? What are the modules contain? What are the technical stack it contains? And each stack which contain how many sprints? Sprints, remember, right? And this project, what's the budget for this project? And how many sprints? How many technical team leads, technical team is required for this project? All these things we need to do it. And so we'll go and request this proposal to the customer. And customer will see this project, will this proposal. If we say okay, then we start drafting something called SOW. What's that? Scope of work. What's that? Scope of work. So SOWs are a lot of technical things will be there inside it. It's like a high level architecting, right? Scope of work. And then based on this, once we set up the overall, the architecting and the entire scope of work, so we will tell, hey customer, this is the scope of work. SOW means for this project, this is the scope of the work. Do we have anything else to be added here? We'll say, yes, I'm good for it. Then I'll give it this to the team leads. Team leads will come by scratching their heads. Sir, I didn't understand this, sir. And then again, we need to sit. Principal architect will sit, not me. Principal architect will sit. And then he will discuss everything with the team lead. Sometime principal architect will also scratch the head. Because who got the requirement? Myself. So in order to do things rightly, which can be done, which cannot be done, which need to be accepted, which is not accepted, which need to be proposed, everything, I'm the one who should be deciding it. So they come to me and then I'll say, yes, this is the things. So then they will go and implement. So all this implementation, they'll do it in 1 week. So we have the Scrum Master will be involved in this. I told you about the Scrum Master. So this team lead and the principal architect will create the task. Will create the task for all the all the teams here, team members, and each team member will start doing on the task. And each task every day we'll have a Scrum meeting morning, and then all the tasks need to be updated in the Jira. Where? Jira. So in that Jira, and overall, I will not be sitting with the team members. I'll be sitting with the Scrum Master and Principal Architect. Tell me the status of this 1 week. And I'll get the status, everything on top, right? And then every 2 weeks, and see how this is, our concept is there here. And then every 2 weeks, that entire code needs to be deployed or not. So that is what model? Agile model, every 2 weeks. But do I need to wait for 2 weeks? You tell me. Do I need to wait for 2 weeks? Okay, if I wait for 2 weeks, if I get any surprises, what will I do? I'm answerable to the customer or not? So Agile model is good here. So in that case, which model I go for? DevOps model. So that meaning they code it, they build it, and they will deploy it. And once they do the deployment, I'll get the URL or not. That URL will be checked by me. So because I'm the whole guy who has the entire architect level, right? What is the expectation of the customer? So for that reason, so I'll be going and checking, yes, this functionality is correct and good and not everything. And what are the changes? Next, I'll join the Scrum meeting every day morning, 9 o'clock. And then I'll tell this is the requirement. Huh? Yeah, we have a release. Again, we have a release management inside this. When do the release will come? When you complete the set of sprints every 2 weeks, then the product, it will be released. We call it as viable product. MVP. What is that? Minimal viable product, which can be used by the customer. Guys, these are all will when you go for, so to reach that level, you need to cross all these things. So this is the daily things that we do. Okay, I think I have took a lot of time for you, but this is all good thing that you know about the real time, how it works, right? You understand something today online, everyone? So that's how we work in this level of experience. Yeah. If you don't want to be a technical manager, you can be a people's manager. People's manager, technical manager, both are different. Technical management till end of your life, you will be techie. You're a technical guy. People's management meaning you need to manage the people. Hey, I don't approve your leaves. Don't go. Come here. Sit here. What is your experience? Hiring, right? And then, so just like a HR. Yeah, correct. That is people's management. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So, sorry if I made you make you bore, but I think this is really, really important for your to know how the real time things works, right? You should be in technical. Okay. Now, so